Author 5-Minute Focus, episode 44, Planning a Series. Planning a series is something that it's a way to make money with series. You don't have to world build and have this completely self-contained world in every single book. The subsequent books, it saves you a lot of brain power and a lot of effort. And also when you bring your readers on board into that first book and they buy into the characters, then they want to read more about those characters. So a series, I write mostly series. You start with your characters. Characters always drive the plot forward. Characters are what will carry the book from from one book to the second, to the third, to the fourth, to however many books you need to put in your series. I usually use 3 to 8, the Star Trek model. Star Trek, think about the original series. You had the 3 main characters, but then you had other characters that had recurring roles. And those other characters would have main parts to play in the various episodes because, hey, filming, it just makes it easier if you don't have the same characters getting the same amount of screen time every single episode. You have other characters and it just makes it easier on the whole cast. It also makes it interesting. So 3 to 8 main characters to keep your story moving forward. No full reveals. You don't give everybody's background all the time in that first book. If it's a standalone, sure, you want to give the readers enough that they're satisfied. Otherwise, you leave interesting tidbits and breadcrumbs, not any major hanging issues, but just breadcrumbs, and keep those keep that trail of them going forward through your series. I like having a complete story in each book. So there's an issue, there's a challenge, there's conflict, there's resolution, and everybody's happy in the end. And then there's other stuff that needs to move forward, and that's what's available for the rest of the series. I have a series that started out as open-ended, had no end in sight, and I'm at 10 books, writing the 11th, and still no end in sight. Readers love it. Every new release gets a bump and more sales of the whole backlist. So that series is the characters. And I actually did a poll of my readers and asked, what do you like? And they like different characters. I have moved characters in and out of that main group, and people like them all, and some have different favorites. And it's really cool watching how the readers adopt their favorite characters. And of course, there's a wombat. Everybody loves a wombat. And then each book is something new, but it's what we say with covers. You have a cover, you can't have a cover that's too unique. You need to have a cover that says, hey, here's what it is with the rest of the genre. The same, but different. And that's the same with your books. The same, but different. Going back to Star Trek, you always see Jim Kirk would always do, if there was a woman, Jim Kirk would be attracted to her. If he would always save the day through wit and wile, and they'd win in the end and then move on. So the fans loved that because it was more of the same, yet a little bit different. The issues that they addressed, some of them were extremely deep. And if you look at it at the palette of the day, the 1960s, it was a very progressive series in what they were trying to address. But it was science fiction. You know, people were green, people were yellow. There was a rock monster that wasn't a monster at all. It just opening people's eyes. More of the same, but different. So that's the series. Each book is that you got to give the readers what they love about these characters, introducing just little facets of backstory or little different challenges to the characters, something that takes them outside of their strengths and keep those moving forward. Characters move your story forward. And then the series arc. Think of it as a rainbow with a pot of gold at the end. And you may never get to the pot of gold, but you're trooping across this rainbow and that pot of gold is out there. For my ongoing series, the magistrate, a space lawyer, well, eventually she's going to become that higher up. The high chancellor is what I call it, eventually. And that's what she's always working toward, to broaden her knowledge and broaden her scope and build a better legal foundation for this federation. So that's the trend. and just trying to do better by her fellows. So that's my series. That's one of my series. I have 2 nonfiction series, and the same thing. It's there are characters, there are issues. Hey, we're exploring Mount Rushmore. We're exploring Yellowstone. Here's how we're doing it. The main trend is how can you do it at cost? If you have money, you can do it a different way. So keep those more of the same, but different. One they're in Yellowstone, the other one they're in Black Hills and Mount Rushmore, looking at the sites, taking a lot of pictures and sharing. So there you go. That's a 5 minutes on doing a series. All right, everybody, you have a great day.